Welcome to the podcast, guys. We are podcasting tonight for everything FPV. We're going to talk about the new iFlight Chimera7 coming up. I'm going to drop a link down below for that soon. And we're going to talk about DeFi, Web 3.0, and how I started this YouTube channel. How I funded Drone Camps RC. Where did the money come from? Well, I'm going to tell you. And we're going to talk about a lot of really cool stuff tonight. So get ready, sit back, grab a beer, kick back. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Drop into the chat and say hello. Let us know where you're from, where you're hailing from, where you're flying, what you're up to, and what's good, you guys. What is good? Go ahead and grab a beer and kick back, enjoy the tunes, and I will screen share with you guys soon. We're going to start. I want to welcome everybody to the live stream tonight. Yesterday we had a live stream where we were talking about the scammers, and since we talked about scammers yesterday, I've seen it all over social media, Instagram. Gary V posted about it. iFlight has been hit. All the major companies that are doing any type of giveaways or drawings are being hit by these scammers, so don't be scammed. If you see me make a comment that you won, it's not true. Welcome everybody to the live chat. We just have a splash screen up right now. I'm waiting for everybody to fall in, and we're going to talk about new stuff coming out. FPV News, DeFi, Web 3.0, and how I started Drone Camps RC. What funded this big YouTube channel? How did I make endless videos day after day? Was I independently wealthy before I started Drone Camps RC? I'm going to let you guys know how I did it and how you can do it if you want to. Anybody can start a YouTube channel or start their own business. There are so many ways to make money, passive income, and enjoy your life, design your life. We talked about that before on the channel. It's super fun and super cool. You just have to have a vision for what you want your life to be like. I did say beer. Welcome Ben Crashing to the channel. We've got some exciting things coming up on the channel. A lot of changes are coming, and yeah, we're headed in all types of different new directions on the channel. We've always been sort of a drone and type channel, so if you enjoy that content, you're going to keep enjoying the Drone Camps channel. Good evening, Chad. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Iceberg FPV. Welcome all the FPV and drone guys. Everything military. Nasty. Welcome, bro. Willie. Lynn. Welcome to the live stream. Give us a thumbs up if you like the Drone Camps channel and you're enjoying the content. Smash that like button if you like the Drone Camps channel. I appreciate it. So we are about to begin the live stream. Just bringing the music track down. We're just playing some random music in the background. Hopefully everybody can hear my mic good enough. You can turn that level up a little bit. Turn up your speakers if you need to on your PC or your Mac or your device, wherever you're listening from. Lots of cool stuff happening in the FPV and drone industry. Lots of new releases coming up. Spring is almost here, guys, and all these companies are lining up to release new quads, new accessories. Big topic of tonight in Everything FPV podcast is the new Chimera7 Pro from iFlight RC. Super rad quad that's going to be probably one of the best early quads to get your hands on this year. If you're thinking about going 7-inch, now's the time. 7-inch happens to be one of my all-time favorite grab it and go quads. It will tote a GoPro Hero 7, 9, 8, whatever. Alright guys, welcome to the live stream. We're going to go ahead and get started now. And we're going to talk about an awesome release that is pretty much here on the horizon. And you know what? At first glance, you would think that the iFlight Chimera7 Pro analog was the most expensive analog quad in history. And that's not exactly true, guys, okay? I mean, maybe even 3 to 4 years ago now, we had Caddx Machine Works making custom-built 5-inch race drones that were in the $500 to $600 category for an analog bind and fly, ready to fly, expertly tuned machine that would outperform some of the best built pro rigs around. Caddx Machine Works is hands down one of the best bind and fly companies out there. Outside of them, we're talking about companies like iFlight making bind and flies, Geprc, and a new competitor to the long range scene is Recon FPV. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying all the content and the honesty on the channel. We have a really awesome review coming out tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit of a comparison video. It will drop tomorrow West Coast time, 6 a.m., 9 o'clock a.m. for the East Coast time. A new review coming out on a new release from Cinewhoop. That's going to be a very interesting video. But tonight, I want to also thank our sponsors on the channel. We're going to thank iFlight RC. One of our most recent drop sponsors is Radio Master, and Radio Master, Owen at Radio Master, is one of the most progressive CEOs out there in our industry, honestly, because they have started out so small and you become an industry standard. So I gotta say thanks to Radio Master, and big props to them for doing what they do and it's kind of changing everything. So guys, let's go ahead and drop into tonight's topic. We're talking about the iFlight Chimera7 Pro Analog Blitz that's coming out, and right now it's up on the Banggood website. I would appreciate it if you go and look at that right now, what you see on your screen right now. If you look at it, grab my link later, and it supports the channel if you buy it from my link. If you're hashing this out, we're going to hash it out for you tonight. We're going to discuss this. You guys can Q&A on the 7-inch series platform. If you've never flown a 7-inch before, ask questions tonight. This is your night to ask about 7-inch, because we're going all LR tonight, long range. You can fly this with 2 different options. Right now they've got ELRS 2.4 gigahertz. I'd like to see a 915 up there soon, and they have bind and fly with TBS Crossfire Nano on board. You can see this little Immortal T in the very back. That's going to get you out 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 miles with a 6S setup. You can run this as large as a Lion 6SP, something like a 4,000 milliamp mega battery on here, and you're going to get 25 minutes to 30 minutes flight time. Now they have done some changes on this one. We have 2809 series 1250 kV motors. Check it. What's cool about that? Anybody in the room, can you guess? We go back to the live chat and I get some guesses on why would they change up this power system on the new one. They did keep also the DJI HD version available as well. And that one's around $600. It's kind of expensive. You can still fly that one on DJI, but they're releasing the analog version as well. So that's good news for everybody in the community. We're just looking for some questions in the chat if you guys want to drop in some questions on that. I love that little pussy hater that comes in there and puts a little thumbs down. I love that, bro. You show up every night, bro. You just got that one guy. You just got to give a shout out to all the 17 likes in the channel as well. Really appreciate that. And God willing that our internet holds up tonight. We've had some spotty internet lately, so if the chat is delayed on my side, it's probably because our internet's pretty slow here. Yeah, man, it's a big motor, bro. A huge motor, 9 millimeter stator, tail stator. Yep, pretty large. It is large, but they've brought down the KV to 1250, which I think is really, really smart. It's going to give us more efficiency on the Lion side of things, and you're going to be able to run one of the Zod 6S. You know, it says down here that you can do 6S 2500 milliamp and above. You get 2500 milliamp. I mean, I've even run a 4S 5000 on something like this. You can run 4S batteries also on a 6S quad, by the way, and experiment with that. If you're at the field with your 7-inch, throw a 4S on there. If you don't have a Lion handy and you've got a 4S 5000 laying around, I had a ton of them from my old RC helis, and they work great on 6-inch quads and 7-inch quads. So this new power system on here, it is the Zing series motors. They've got some specs already on the website. They're also running 55 amp ESCs, and that's 2 to 6S. Why on God green earth you would ever fly a 2S battery on here, I don't know, but you're going to be flying this one. You could fly it on 4, 5, and 6S respectively. As a beginner, there's really no need for a 7-inch unless you flew giant RC airplanes in the past. Guys that are bridging over from RC airfields where they flew huge nitro and gas planes, helis, and things like that. It's not unheard of that guys start out with something like a 5, 6, and 7-inch multi-rotor. They're understanding how things work. You just have to watch out accidentally arming a quad this size. It will rip up into your face super quick. But there's a lot of safeguards nowadays with these quads. So they have an F722 flight controller in here as well. That's really nice. And cream of the crop on this analog version, guys, you're going to be running more milliwatt on this one than you can on any of the DJI quads. So the analog version of this quad with a Lion battery on there might actually go further out than your typical DJI setup, and that's gonna be determined not by me, but by someone else on the internet who doesn't mind posting that the range that they were able to get with 1.6 watt. It's illegal in the US to go over 1 watt, but this thing is going to come with the Blitz 1.6 watt VTX. And it looks like they have a hyperlink over to that. We're going to go check that out right now. And it is made by iFlight. That is freaking super cool. 25, 400, 800, 1600 milliwatt. That thing is cranking. That's going to get so hot you could fry an egg on it. Now in the summer months, you want to watch out for that. But they have a nice heat sink on here. The whole case itself is a heat sink. So it's all aluminum encased. And aluminum does a great job at dissipating heat. It's a 30 by 30 setup, it looks like, 18.9 grams. It's got a function power press button on there, 2 seconds to select the power. You'd probably also be able to do smart audio, changing it with your transmitter inside your goggles, which is really nice. And I'm sure it has pit mode, but why would you need pit mode when you're not racing a 7-inch? Unless you are a 7-inch class racer. But why would you run a VTX like this? No need. It's got a nice MMCX connector here as well, so that's not going to pop out on accident on you while you're flying. I'm not a big fan of UFL connectors on long range setups. Years ago, we did have some VTXs with UFL connectors. It's a smaller type connector that can become disconnected, so it's very dangerous. But there it is. It's going to cost $38.99 on the Banggood website. It's available. I'll put a link down when I do my full review of this quad coming up. I have one from iFlight coming, by the way, guys. That is really good good news. Zing 2 series motors. Those are the brand new 2809s, 1250 kVs. And those are going to be all right turn nut on top of those. We won't have any clockwise, counterclockwise nuts on those, which is super nice. They're weighing in at 60.7 grams with short wire. They have a 19 by 19 millimeter mount pattern. And you know, most of the gear that I've run from iFlight on these long range drones have been good. They also put TPU side skirts in here. You guys see that? That is going to be a front to back side skirt. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to run that. They did leave, I did notice that they did leave a window back here where the VTX is. That was super smart. Now, we've talked about that before with the iFlight Evoke 5 version and the 6 version. That had side panels on it, and it had LEDs down the side, but I can't confirm yet that this has LEDs. I don't believe it does, because most of the long range guys don't really care about LEDs, and you kind of want to be invisible anyway. So when you're miles out, you don't want to be, a giant beacon in the air. So this has no LEDs on it, I'm sure, probably on the bottom as well, and they have a window here for cooling, which is really good to see. So you need that extra cooling there, but it also has a little bit of a skirt above it for a little bit of scraggle protection, which is nice. You got bumpers on the bottom here. We do have one LED down bottom for the iFlight logo, it looks like, but not in the center like the Evoke series. And I'm sure they're going to include HQ props. HQ has some really nice new long-range props coming out. It's like perfect timing for that. Nice thin cord here in the center. Nice thin taper on the outside for a quiet 7-inch. If you've never heard a 7-inch take off before, it's a really great thing. It's a really nice thing to hear a 7-inch. They sound totally different than a 5. And, unbelievably, the 7-inch is quieter than a 5-inch. Now at full throttle, that might be debatable, but this is a good looking quad. The DJI version with the full size air module on there, that's the one I would prefer with that camera as well. That is the old school DJI original HD FPV camera. Yeah, Ben, it does look great. It's a really nice looking quad. And I think these will sell. There's not a lot of releases right now that are out there, so this one really doesn't have a whole ton of competition. Like 2 years ago, we had so many releases that I couldn't even keep up with what was coming in the door to review things. So we're at the point now where things have slowed down, the economy slowed down. There's been a lot of job loss and slowdown in shipping in China because of COVID the last 2 years. So prices have also gone up on semiconductors and anything tech related. Cars, food, you name it, it's all going up in price. So I'm not surprised to see that a 7-inch costs $500 in 2022. The pitch is lower. The larger you go on a propeller, the lower the pitch. It does have a lower pitch on this prop. Yes, they also have I believe it was around like 7x3 or something. But if you're speaking about also the pitch, the sound of the prop itself, it is lower. Yeah, they're nice looking, very nice looking motors on there. They have a little bit of a blue anodized aluminum top plate to them. And it's very simple in the front of the quad. If you look at the front of the quad here, they've got the Gopro Mount up top, it's TPU mount. It's got 4 bolts there. And it looks like they did use the extra lip on the outside of those bolts going through into the carbon. And that's good because you want that extra lip on the outside of that 3mm nut bolt going through there, because you don't want this to rip off and destroy this mount if you crash. That happens a lot. A lot of these mounts come with standard 3mm bolts and they rip right through the TPU. Yeah, the sound pitch, I mean, HQ has I believe they're 7x3s. I'm going to try to get a pile of those to test out for you guys. Lower pitch, as far as prop goes, that will help reduce, it'll reduce the pull from the motors, and they won't be pulling as hard. And honestly, you want a lower pitch prop when you're flying long range, because you kind of want to be able to cruise at the minimum amount of throttle available to keep the nose up, the aircraft up. So find your lowest amount of throttle available just to go in a straight line, and you're going to get the longest flight time on your battery. And the general rule of long range is you fly higher as you go. And the sound pitch, yes, it is lower, Ricardo. Ben. Blizzard FPV. Bro, BQE is good gear. Some of you new guys that haven't heard about BQE, you know, Bill hasn't been hitting me up with as many freebies in the past 2 years, maybe because of COVID. He's scaling back like everybody else, but BQE is one of the original OG companies to send me gear to test. Full setups. I mean, we started on micros and we worked our way up to freestyle drones, and he has some really nice frames. He has some of the most original frame designs you ever come across. Yeah, BQE for life for sure. If you guys have any questions about 7-inch long range, TBS crossfire, any type of radio questions, output, I mean, TBS crossfire is one of the easiest types of receivers to set up. It does automatic updates as well. So for the new guys, trying to update a receiver is a pain in the ass. If you've ever tried to do it on your own, it's really a pain. And I love it. So whenever I get a brand new TBS Crossfire Nano, for example, for a review, once I bind it up to my receiver, bind it up to my TX and in the module, it does an automatic update. Super sweet. But ELRS is on TBS's tail, big time. So they've got TBS's number. But I will say that if I was to go out right now, I might grab my TBS Crossfire module first, because it honestly looks like TBS Crossfire is still doing some things that ELRS is not quite handling yet as far as distance penetration goes. And I've been testing both for the past 2 years. So family's doing good, JDS. I appreciate that. I needed to hop in here, and there's just so much going on online around the world with the internet, with the drone industry, the new releases coming out. We were on to talk about DeFi tonight as well. Decentralized apps are popping. Crypto is kind of on the way up as well, and Bitcoin is doing a huge rise in the past several months since the Ukraine war started. And what is the relation from crypto and DeFi and this type of tech to the Drone Camps channel and how I started this channel and all that? Well, there is some correlation with this tech to the Drone Camps RC channel. Like, drones in general are innovative technology, and for my channel and the early conception of Drone Camps was playing around with new tech, just going out into the field, building a DJI flame wheel. Before I even started doing FPV, I was building these, flying them line of sight, along with my RC airplanes. And I was always interested in new tech. So before Drone Camps RC, I made my living in the metaverse. And we're going to talk more about metaverse and DeFi coming up on the channel as DeFi grows, and as it becomes integrated with drones. It will eventually work its way over into drones. It's happening right now on social media. I just did a post on Facebook today talking about how some of this DeFi is kind of changing the realm of social media, becoming decentralized and less tracked. And the US Army stopped using DJI drones because of the proprietary GPS software. And that problem with that is that companies can track your location. And so American-made drones were working their way over to Afghanistan, Iraq, and other countries around the world, and being used by US soldiers, mainly so they couldn't be tracked. And they weren't running on foreign data streams, and that's super important. Being decentralized doesn't allow it to be tracked as easily by a corporate entity or a foreign power. So, are you guys still with me? Um, yeah, it gets pretty deep and it gets pretty complicated, but the decentralized network is also bringing in other apps like an alternative to Facebook, an alternative to Google Maps. Um, so imagine not being tracked when you use Google Maps and you're driving your car down the street and you don't have location tracking. Imagine applying that to drone flying. That's kind of nice. It's an open source environment. It's very much the same like Betaflight. If you look at Betaflight and CleanFlight's inception, the whole reason that that was created was to get away from proprietary flight controllers. And that's where we're at kind of with DeFi and the decentralized web. We don't want to be tracked. If there's money involved, you know, we had this discussion recently online with a friend of mine from Dave, who's lived many years in China, and whenever there's money involved with just about anything, there's always some type of tracking going on. It's hard to get away from, but the amount of tracking that's happening on Facebook and Google, you know, the platform we're using right now, it's really tracked. So if you can cut that down by 90%, who wouldn't want that, right? Welcome, Stu, to the channel, one of the OG drone channels out there. I sent you a friend request on Facebook, Stu. You should definitely accept that, bro. Probably years ago, bro. Right before you had your baby, I think. And if Bardwell's watching tonight, too, hello to Bardwell and the other guys out in the FPV community. I like to be friendly with everybody out there. Good vibes out to all the other channels that are promoting drones and FPV. If you're a filmmaker, you're an FPV guy, you're freestyle, a racer, whoever, you guys are all welcome on the channel. This is a huge open forum here. But I made my living in the metaverse. 15 years ago, I was in the metaverse. And that was new technology at the time, and now we have Zuckerberg talking about it. He's talking about changing, you know, he's already changed his company name to Meta. So that's interesting to me. He's basically saying the same thing now that Philip Rosedale was talking about 20 years ago. Elon Musk today was quoted saying he was going to start his own social media platform because he was pissed at Twitter. Okay, he could probably do that. He has a huge following. He probably could. If it would make us any less tracked, that would be awesome. You know, ad sharing. There is also like there's tons of ways that these companies are profiteering from your data, and your data is important. That's why we fly these types of drones. That's one of the big reasons why I fly the FPV drones and not DJI every day. It's because every single flight that you fly with your DJI drone is logged, sent to China, and who knows where that data is going after it lands on a server somewhere else. It shows your flight pattern, your waypoints, whatever you did, your altitude, your speed, what you filmed, even a little thumbnail of what you filmed for your entire flight. And that's pretty crazy. Imagine that happening on every single one of your tiny whoops and all of your drones. And I know DJI is about to release, they're about to release a new version of an FPV drone. So, I mean, you know, that's great. But again, like with the DJI FPV drone, a lot of people weren't happy with that one. I bought one for $1,500. Never really did a review on it, but I'm gonna give it away as well. So in that giveaway video, watch out for this camera. It's not me. Don't ever think you won anything by me saying you won in a comment. I never pick winners from comments, ever. And all my giveaways are 100% free. I will ship this to your door for free. This is just giving back to the FPV community, and also at the same time trying to grow my channel. I mean, I'd be lying if I wasn't saying I wanted to grow my channel. And You know, some people, oh man, you're a sellout. This is my job, bro. Well, I walk in the door to your job and tell you you're a sellout because you're standing behind the counter. Whatever you do, if you wash cars, you review drones, it's the way you make money to pay the bills and put food in your kid's mouth, right? That's right. So nobody's a sellout doing their job, but I gotta say that the new FPV drone that's gonna come out, it's likely to be a 3-inch. Um, I really could do without the DJI motion controller. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and it's just a blatant copy of the unique Typhoon controller that they had 5 years ago. That's nothing new, and the Typhoon H controller was really not that great either. One of my greatest friends in the drone industry, Trent, was a designer at Unique. He spent some time in China. He worked in California. I believe he still lives in California. We tested it out on the beach of Oregon. You can go back and watch that review. I said I love it as far as the Typhoon H is concerned, but we tested out that little controller, and it was kind of wacky. I really prefer a full-size transmitter in my hands. And also in other news, guys, we have some new stuff coming up. And I'm not even sure I can talk about it. And I love to talk about shit that I'm not allowed to talk about in podcasts because can't really control me in a podcast. But I don't have any contracts or anything with any of these companies outside just, people think that I get paid to do videos, which is ridiculous. None of these companies send me hundreds of dollars or $1,000 a month to make review videos. I wish they did because I wouldn't have to do, podcasts every 3 days. But they don't pay me. So there is a new radio coming. And it's likely that it's going to be an update to a radio that you guys all love, that changed the industry. That will probably be one of the biggest sellers in this year in 2022, which is cool. And I believe it will replace my all-time favorite radio, the Radio Master TX16S, the Max Edition. We will see. Now the Max Edition right now, I mean, that's an expensive radio, but still cheaper than a DJI radio, $299. This is hands down one of the best radios you can get a hold of. If you're a new guy right now, go find my review of this. Use my link for God's sake. Keep the channel going. And buy one of these. You'll love it. This is what mine looks like right here. It's the carbon red anodized aluminum version. It has a JR module bay in the back. There's my review right there. Go check that out. Super nice. You can get leather grips on the side of it. And so this new radio that's coming, it is coming from Radio Master. Just give you guys a heads up on that. And I don't know if it's going to be a version of this, a 2.0 version, a V2, or a V2 of the TX12 that everybody loves. I'd like to see a new version of that as well. And who knows, they might make a full-blown built-in ELRS version of a TX16. Wouldn't that be cool? There's all kinds of options that they can do for us. They listen to us as a community as well. You guys have to know that all these companies, they may be in the stream right now. If they're not in the stream right now, they'll probably go back and listen to it later because they listen to all of our videos and reviews. I believe they have someone that sits and takes notes and passes it down the line to the sales team or to the engineers so that they can take notes on what to put into next versions of radios. They do listen to us, and it's so cool because years ago we would say something in a video and less than a week later there'd be a new product out. I mean, the Chinese work so fast, and that's where Americans have to pay attention and stay competitive. Pass the meta toilet paper. I'm with you there, dude. Zuckerberg needs to update his avatars. They look terrible. They look about like, I forget. Oh man, what's the name of this? 2003. There was a metaverse that was in competition with Second Life, and it was a really, I want to say it was like a Louvre or something, or I something. And the avatars look terrible. They look like little like kids' toys. And Second Life was also another one. And Second Life was cool because that one was a little more realistic. Um, but the thing about a metaverse, and I need to do a video on how to create the perfect metaverse, because I spent 15 years in the metaverse, building, constructing, and selling virtual goods and earning virtual currencies before Bitcoin came around. I was hip to virtual currency, and I tried to explain it to many of my friends and family. Had no idea what I was talking about, thought I was completely crazy. And 20 years later, Bitcoin is one of the biggest currencies in the world, but it's not a fiat currency. So it's basically like a digital credit. But Second Life is still around. And Zuckerberg has billions of dollars to invest in it. When he released his video that was talking about Meta, it kind of blew my mind, because he was repeating things that were said 15 years ago with the inception of Second Life. And if you go back and you look on YouTube, type in Philip Rosedale and listen to Philip Rosedale talk about Second Life 15 years ago and the metaverse and where it was going, how exciting it was, because this new platform would enable companies around the world to have a virtual meeting in a space where they could kind of see each other. Jesus, that sounds a lot like Meta. It's been done before. So the thing about it is why I say that, creating the perfect metaverse is a hard job, because we don't all want to sit around and wear virtual headsets and goggles all day. The only time I want to be wearing goggles is when I'm flying a drone. And I don't want to wear my FPV goggles all day long. I don't want to sit in the metaverse for 12 hours a day wearing VR goggles. I want to live in this world. So Radio Master is going to release something coming up sometime in the first part of April. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be cool. You guys have any questions about anything coming up? Questions about Geprc, iFlight, long range, the 7-inch. If you're brand new to the channel, welcome to Drone Camps RC channel, guys. I always try to be super honest with you guys in reviews and be real and speak in layman's terms and not try to bore you to death with really insanely technical stuff. There's a time and place for everything. I do appreciate the more technical channels on YouTube. I want to be like, hey, hi, I'm Justin Davis. You're gonna have some fun today. That's the theme here on this channel. Hopefully, I want to learn a little bit. But man, some of the teachers that I had in high school that were a little bit too teched out were the ones that kind of put me to sleep a little bit. Eye implants, right, man. Joseph G, you're right. Eye implants. There you go. They're trying to figure that out, but even Zuckerberg said that's a little bit hard to do. It's not much to work with as far as millimeters go. It's hard to create like a 1 millimeter supercomputer that what you hold in your hand. So it's really fun, like all the different directions that technology are going today, and it's so fun to be able to make a mashup of all this shit. I mean, really, blockchain, drones, flight controllers, Betaflight, FPV goggles, open source, everything. And I'm all about open source. Open source metaverse would be absolutely awesome. And those are also on the horizon. Open source Google Maps. Imagine you could take a trip somewhere and you weren't being tracked every single place you go. I mean, it's selective advertising. They know whose phones are sitting in a room close to each other, and then that's also a way for advertisers to link you to your lifestyle. It's insane. The amount of profiling that goes on with selective advertising and tracking. Do I think that digital systems use left-hand polarized antennas to have less interference with analog in their right hands? Walter White FPV, I love it. What's up, Walter White? I think there's a time and a place for left-hand polarized antennas. In the case of DJI FPV, they decided to go with that. It might be that it does have less interference. And that could be between trees or long range. And I'm going to guess that's probably in the realm of getting some distance with the quad. But traditionally, all of us have flown right-hand circular polarized. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Luis. Luis dropped in and said that his favorite antenna is a true RC. Some of my favorite antennas are true RC. They haven't sent me a lot of those, but I do like using them. I also like using the Luminaire AX2 antennas as well. Right-hand circular polarized for my analog, left-hand circular polarized for my DJI gear. And you can replace those antennas as proprietary DJI antennas. Well, not proprietary because they're MMCX. You can just snap on some new ones on your Caddx Vista or your Air module. I would like HD0 to get with the program and send me one of their modules so we can do some HD0 views. Long overdue on some HD0, guys. It's not even, it seems like drone camps is not on the radar. I'm not sure why. But if they send it to me, I'll bash it. We'll do a durability test, of course. You know, I'm not the best pilot, but I like to fly like I stole it. Yeah, I did know that, Luis. I did know. Yeah, they've been behind the scenes on that one for a while. Many years. The AX2 antennas have been around for a while. AX line in general. We got to get Luis back in the Discord, guys. If you're in the stream now, go check out the Drone Camps Discord. Open up Discord, log into that, and join the 24-hour chat that's there. It's kind of like a live podcast in there most of the time because we have regulars that are in there, and they're always posting pictures and updates on builds. Everybody's always building something, so you can go in there and share builds, ask questions, and level up your Discord experience. The Discord's popping right now. It's really nice. What's up, Grant? Welcome to the live stream. We're just hanging out, talking FPV, DeFi, decentralized networks and apps, and even a little bit of metaverse chat. It's all things tech tonight in the podcast. We started out talking about some Chimera7. Sometimes I call it the Chimera. Whatever. I'm American. I say shit wrong. But welcome, Grant. Welcome to the podcast, bro. If you got any questions, please drop them in the chat. I'll try to get your questions answered. Appreciate your thumbs up. If you guys are in the live stream right now, go ahead and drop a thumbs up. And, you know, if you guys have seen the Taurus X8 Pro, the 8S HD center lifter right here, this is a bad boy. It's pretty much a ready to go, cinema ready. You can put a an 8S pack on this thing and fly it with a GoPro, a Go 2, and a Cinema Red camera all at once. It's kind of an amazing rig, and it's actually very cheap in comparison to something like the Inspire 2. You're going to pay $500 more, but you have way more versatility with this. Most people in Hollywood are kind of turning around and looking at FPV rigs for more innovative shots, and some of the young guys and the young pilots, they can fly these things just with amazing precision and skill and get so much better shots with this type of rig than you can any Inspire 1 or 2 or Phantom 4 or Phantom 5 if they ever release it. And I'm surprised that DJI's cinema drones are still selling. I notice if you walk in Best Buy, take a walk down the drone aisle. It seems that the only two companies that still exist in Best Buy in 2022 are Autel and DJI. And there are far less of them in there now than there used to be. And you also notice that DJI is doing far less releases in the past 3 years than they used to. When DJI first started up, they would release 3 or 4 versions of a Phantom. It's pretty crazy. But the reason that I pulled up the Taurus X8 Pro is because this one costs $2,500. The new Chimera7 Pro that's coming out, it doesn't have a scorpion tail on it. You can probably add one on there if you wanted to. It's just a TPU print with some bolts so you can articulate your Insta360 Go or Insta Go 2 on there. But the Chimera Pro, I believe, could get just as good video as something like the Taurus X8. And this one is analog at 469 with a 1.6 watt VTX on the back. That's pumping. That's like in the realm of AKK VTXs. If you're old school, you know what AKK is. AKK is one of the only VTX companies that was ballsy enough to create like a 2 watt VTX. And they're illegal in the United States because you're only supposed to be running 1 watt out here, but you can get them and run 2 watt. I'm not sure why in the hell you'd want to run 2 watt, honestly, but I mean, I rarely ever run over 1 watt. Actually, I never really run over 600 watt. Or 600 milliwatt. 600 milliwatt can get you 5 miles out, guys. People are doing naked red camera. Now that would be something cool to put on the Chimera7 Pro. Wouldn't that be cool? Now, how much does a cinema red camera currently cost in 2022? Did the price on those go up too? That'd be insane. A decase cinema red camera on a Chimera7 Pro. Let's go, guys. Full cinema rig. Next Subaru commercial could be filmed with this rig right here. And it costs less than 500 bucks. Come on. What are we planning to do when remote ID comes out? We're all going to be flying open source by that time. We're still going to be flying Betaflight. If they ban it, people will use a VPN to bypass it and still be able to update their flight controller. Because here's the thing. Let's talk about that for a second. Remote ID. It will not stop the rest of the drones from flying. And the thing is that they're still going to sell components. The industry is not going to end overnight because of remote ID. They're not looking to shut down the industry. The quads and drones that are going to have remote ID are already there and set up to accept remote ID. The standard FPV race drone, it's just not going to have it. It's not going to happen. And honestly, like, years ago, you know, things change, but years ago, a lot of the AMA airfields were right next to airports. And that's, you know, where people were flying real turbine RC jets, gliders up to 1,000 feet up above the RC airfield with planes flying by. No one ever struck an RC airplane with an aircraft that I know of. There might be an article out there somewhere, but no one was ever killed to my knowledge. And an RC airplane is a hell of a lot bigger than most drones, especially one of the turbine jets. Those things are like little Scud missile when it hits the ground. You have to have a fire extinguisher with you when you're flying, and you have to have like a special permit and license to fly one of the turbine jets, actually. You have to be super responsible. Most of those RC turbine jets, they run in the $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 range. I've seen a $20,000 one hit the ground and just explode in a ball of fire. You know, way more dangerous than any drone out there. Yeah, it's a shame about the scammers, but I am not alone in this. It seems to be a global thing, and right now, you know, I was thinking about it. I'm driving around today, and I'm thinking about it with all the stuff going on with Russia. You know, it could be maybe something going on with Russia as well. It's Russia, India, and they're maybe even coming out of Africa and China. There's a ton of groups. I mean, there's even some coming from the U.S. that these cells, if you will, of an individual or group of people doing all these copy paste bots all over YouTube, and they're hitting all the channels that have a big following. Yeah, good to see you in the live stream, Paul. I like a lot of you guys that already have a garage full of airplanes and RC helicopters, because I'm that same kind of guy. Like, I literally have 2 houses full of RC shit. I have a house on the East Coast, RC shit, and I have a house on the West Coast, RC shit. I bought one house to fill up and got another house to fill up. It's kind of the way that RC goes. So be careful, get into RC, guys. You might get divorced. Most of the guys out at the RC airfields years ago, they're all alcoholics and divorced. Sounds familiar with the FPV crowd. It's funny, years ago, a friend of mine that I met, one of my first RC friends over here on the West Coast, he says, yeah, my dad used to not let me go down to the RC airfield when I was a kid. He didn't want me going down there because he said all those guys down at the airfield were a bunch of derelicts, and most of them were divorced. Once you get a garage full of airplanes going, man, it's not super attractive to the ladies. And maybe the same thing with drones, guys, but you know, like, you want to find that woman who, like, accepts you for who you are, right? Isn't that the way it goes? You want to find that girl, like, in layman's terms, she puts up with your shit and you put up with her shit. It's the perfect match. You're the perfect team, partners in crime, the perfect storm. And that's what I've always been looking for. My girlfriend now, she's awesome. She's a girl I wish I had when I was, 16. And I'm in my 40s now, and I'm loving life. It's great. She has a lot of interest in learning how to fly FPV as well, so I think she would be sponsored after, like, her first posted video, because she's one of those girls that's cute, and you know how it goes when you're cute and you're a woman in a male industry. Sponsorship. However, I have to say that Mako Reactra, is that how you say that? She's good. She's a good pilot. Damn good pilot. Fast. Wins races. Just picked up a new sponsorship, actually, which is really cool. I like to give a shout out to all my FPV ladies out there that are just killing it. It doesn't matter if you're a good pilot. It just matters if you enjoy flying. Like, that's what it boils down to. If you think it's cool, you can hang with us anytime. That's awesome. Inaki, you're cracking me up, bro. Does that go with you know, what's it saying about the you know, why buy the farm if you got the cow? You're getting the milk, bro. Do you need the whole farm? That's a terrible saying. I should take a shot for that one. But no, man, my girlfriend's cool. She's cool. I'd buy the farm. We're building the farm right now. We have chickens. I do flight tests in the backyard with the chickens all the time. I try not to traumatize the chickens because if you fly a 5-inch by a chicken, she might not lay an egg for about a month. Who knows? We got FPV Harem up in here, Ben. What are you talking about, bro? I'm sure some of you guys, ladies out there, fly, right? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, it's you know, the drone industry is a big sausage party. It really is. Like, even at the biggest companies, like, there's not many females in the company. I used to be a Horizon hobby dealer. I had a brick and mortar store at Drone Camps RC in North Carolina, and one of my reps was female, and you know, it's just a male dominated industry, the RC industry. Like, when we would go to Joe Knoll every year, Joe Knoll, you should look that up on the internet, Joe Knoll fly-in, and it probably will happen again this fall. They've been all displaced because of COVID, but there'd be 3,500 pilots there, all the big RC companies there, Horizon Hobby, yeah, High Tech, all the big guys there. I had a booth right next to Flight Test one year. I got to hang out with Peter and Josh. We had a big RC jet come in and crash right in front of us on the electric field. I mean, it was like a Scud missile coming in. It just exploded. Good thing it wasn't like 100-foot ever. It would have been in our tents. But Joe Knoll is super cool. You should go check that out. You should attend that, even if you're an FPV guy. They actually started doing, they have 7 different flight fields, and they just added an FPV field. I mean, it makes Rotor Fest or Rotor Riot Fest or whatever that's called look like small potatoes. But I'd like to try to get to that Rotor Riot Fest sometime. That seems pretty cool. And Flight Test also does one. But Joe Knoll is the big dog RC event in the United States. It's legit. You can learn a lot by hanging out at those events. I met the creator of Spectrum. Not that you guys are huge fans of Spectrum, because we hate proprietary stuff here in the FPV community. At least I do. I'm a self-professed proprietary gear hater. But I am excited about the Chimera7 Pro, another 6S long-range drone. It will be my pick-up and go drone, my drone of choice on my FPV trips. And I do like the Evoke series as well. I like the 5 and the 6. I like the 6 better, but 6 and 7 are my go-to quads. Adam, if you are in Oregon, I would look up Northwest FPV on Facebook. Northwest FPV is one of the best groups to make connections with other people out there in this area. Northwest FPV. There it is right there. So around 1,700 people on there. It's not a lot of people, but it was founded by Micah Morton, a really nice guy who's also, which is kind of funny, he's one of my moderators in Discord. I actually forgot, and so did he, but he's still a moderator in there. But you know, they have posts in there. There's a post recently from yesterday at 12:45 p. Someone selling something. They also have used gear classifieds as well, Northwest FPV classifieds, which is cool. But those are the guys for the Pacific Northwest. Probably the biggest group in this area besides like Seattle. In Seattle, I want to say Seattle Multi-Rotor Club was one of them in Seattle, if you're up in that area. Yeah, man, Micah Morton is a old school OG in the drone community. Big respect out to Micah. And he's got a sense of humor too. Micah does. Super cool guy. But you know, someone said the other day they weren't happy with the way that my channel was going, but that seems interesting to me because we've kind of expanded the channel content in the last 2 to 3 months, and we've kind of like resurfaced the face of the channel in a lot of ways to involve more ways to give back. And that's been my main focus, is to like create all these crazy ways to get the drones that I have out to the community in as many ways as possible as I could think of. And I've just been brainstorming this for months. We started off with doing free giveaways like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and that's fun. I pay for the shipping, so it's always free. You never win by a comment. Don't listen to the scammer. Then I started doing the dollar drone, which was like huge. So we're doing the dollar drone here. That's probably a $200 to $300 quad for $1. That drops with a YouTube short announcement, and then you guys run to the Drone Camp's website, click into the dollar store, and if you see it in stock, freaking buy it. You get it for $1. The last one we pretty much gave away for $1 was the Diatone Roma V2 in this picture right here. So the new one, it will be announced soon. I keep saying it's going to be announced soon, but you know what? I'm super busy, and I apologize for when I say I'm going to do something and I don't. I'm only one guy, so give me a break, okay? Drone mystery boxes, same thing. But these are $200, and what I do is basically whip up an awesome ass box, similar to like the subscription box, but one you never have to buy again. You just get loads of gear crammed in this box, 3 FPV drones. The $200 box just went out to Brian last week, and he did an awesome video. Sent it to me in my email, which I'm going to share with you guys sometime. He opened it up with his daughter, and that was a lot of fun. They were just pulling out these little individually wrapped drones and unwrapping them to see what they got. And it's really a lot of fun, and it is absolutely worth the money, because there's going to be more than $200 worth of gear stuffed in that box. I mean, if you tried to buy 3 FPV drones of the size that I sent you, I even sent him one of the DJI drones. He got like a Thinking P16 in that last mystery box. So that's a good deal, okay? You know, the Thinking P16. Girlfriend's calling in the podcast, guys. The Thinking P16 is a pretty good price. And that quad alone, I believe, is over $200. So that's a $300 quad that he got with 2 other drones in that mystery box. That's freaking awesome. I mean, that's an example of a really awesome mystery box. And who the hell knows what's going to be in the next one. I'm going to do a pretty large one coming up. We're going to call it the Mega Box. So the Mega Box will be coming, and the Mega Box is probably going to include a $2,000 to $3,000 drone, along with a handful of other drones. And so the Mega Box will include more than 3 drones in that one. that one's going to be fun. So the mega box, mystery boxes. We're also doing the drone NFT store, which is payable by crypto now. We're incorporating crypto into the channel, and we're creating one-of-a-kind collector's item, cased, LED lit, autographed, numbered collector's item that you can hang on the wall, and you get the NFT collector card that goes in your crypto wallet. There are only I believe there's 3 of them so far now in the collection, and you can go to our Rarible page by clicking on the Rarible link right here, and that'll take you over to the Rarible page for Drone Camp's Friends. That's what our collection is called, Drone Camp's Friends, because everybody's my friend. At least I think they are. And these are my other NFTs here. This is the original one. We gave this one away. But you will see something new drop here. And so these are the 3 that sold. HVOC Sector 5. That was number 4. Number 3. And number 2 was the Geprc Mark 5 HD. So a lot of cool drones are dropping into the crypto space. So just trying to give you guys like multiple ways to get my drones and fly them. And then the free drone store, which is absolutely 100% free. If you live outside the U.S., you got to pay the shipping there. I'm not sure if you might have to pay the shipping if you're in the U.S., but it depends on how big the thing is. But I'll work with you. I'm cool like that. So yeah, we're trying to give back to the community and change up the amount of drones that are going out to you guys and the deals. Trying to make it fun. Of course, I got to be honest. I want to make money because I got to make a living. But the DJI FPV drone giveaway coming up, that's going to be within the next 100,000 subscribers. So that drone giveaway is going to be going for a while. But the rest of these drone giveaways are going to keep popping on the channel. So stay tuned for, the YouTube short. When YouTube short drops, that's when it'll be in stock here. Right now things say out of stock. Like that says out of stock. But if you go to the discount drone store, these drones drop in anytime. So you can refresh this page anytime. Right now there's a ProTech 6.5 in there and an Easy Pilot. And those are both cheaper than retail. They've been flown 2 or 3 times. It's a good deal. But yeah, so I like the direction that the channel's moving. We're trying to incorporate more ways for you to get drones, new ideas, and new tech, blockchain, DeFi, whatever, all the fun tech shit, and open source. Keeping it all open source. We're also going to do some more tutorials coming up. I have a really awesome build coming up as well for the channel. So some of you guys requested a build. But if you are enjoying the stream, I appreciate it. We've been here for an hour now, so I'm gonna go ahead and close up the stream because I have to call my girlfriend back before I don't have a girlfriend. So she's probably wondering what the hell I'm doing. But much love out to my girlfriend Rebecca and our dog Happy, my family, my kids. I'm a twins dad, by the way. I have 2 6-year-olds, boy and a girl. And that is who you're supporting on my channel. The honest truth. I really appreciate all you guys, always, all your thumbs up. I read every single one of your comments all the time. And keep in mind, you'll never win anything on this channel unless you see me on a video saying you want a drone. This scamming thing that's going on YouTube right now, it's crazy. So do not reply to, even if it sends you an email to your inbox, which YouTube does that when it makes a comment automatically. The scammers know that. And so you think that you got emailed from me. I told somebody this earlier. Go to my website. Click on Contact DC. Fill this questionnaire out. Send me an email. Say, hey man, did I win? And I'll email you back and I'll say, hey man, no you didn't. Okay, it's simple as that. Like, if you think that I emailed you for any reason, I mean, I'm not going to email you. I'm just not going to email you. So unless you email me first and it's a legit question, I always email you back. Product support, purchase, whatever. We are a legit company, so I will always email back a customer. And any of you guys have bought something from me, you're a customer. So one guy bought something, decided he didn't want to have it, so I refunded him and I didn't ship it. So I mean, it says no refunds or returns, but it depends on the situation. But I usually try to work with everybody to be nice and be fair. Yeah, we're gonna do a build coming up as well. So stay tuned for that. But check out the dronecamps.com website and follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and even TikTok. I just got over 1,000 followers on TikTok, so now we can do live streams, boys, on TikTok. So that's kind of fun because we can just sit and build a drone and talk shit. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, man, I appreciate all you guys, and I hope that all you guys are doing well and thriving and surviving out there, and you're living your best life. Because I'm trying to absolutely do the same. And I'm hoping that if you're new getting into this hobby, that you find some fun in this and some escape from the everyday life and the doldrums of maybe the hard life that you live. So we all have it pretty hard at times. So I always try to be nice to the next guy on the street because you never know what their struggles are. You know what I mean? So. But before I end the podcast, I gotta say, sorry to Justin Doty, who got scammed from the scammer yesterday. He's the reason that I made the video live stream yesterday. With is it real or is it a scam? So we had to do a whole video live stream on the scammer, and that's a total waste of time, and of Justin Doty's lifetime as well. So big apologies out to him for falling into that trap. Hope you guys don't. Man, I appreciate you too, Joseph. Thank you for that comment. That really means a lot. Really appreciate you guys. But have a good night, you guys. I'm off to figure out what to cook my girlfriend for dinner and feed the dog, give the dog some water, and let her out as well, and take care of the kids. But happy FPV, everybody. I will see you on the next one, and that will be tomorrow morning sharp at 6 a.m. New review of a new Cinewhoop product. So stay tuned on that. Appreciate all you guys' support, likes, comments, everything. I'm with you guys. I will see you on the next one. Take care, guys.